Snake got his name by being a ruthless, stingy man. He never did anything for free. If you wanted something from him, you had to give something. Snake's mother died and left him her home. He was an only child, and if his mother would have had anyone else to leave it to, she would have. Snake was mean to her, and the weaker that she got, the more she depended on him. It wasn't long before he knew her PIN number and began manipulating her bank accounts. She couldn't see anymore, so he signed all the checks and paid all the bills with her money. When she finally died, he disregarded her wishes and had her cremated because it was cheaper than a fancy casket. Snake was out of work on disability, and his mother's bank accounts had left him pretty well off. The house was paid for, and his mom had maintained and upgraded the roof, the bathrooms, the kitchens, the hedges, and fences surrounding the home. Snake started getting different women over his house, and one day one of his friends came over and introduced him to crack cocaine. He didn't try any, but he couldn't help but notice the effect that it had on people that smoked it. Normal people turned into entirely different personalities. When they finished smoking, some got paranoid and started walking around thinking that the police were coming after them. Others began looking on the floor for pieces of rock, thinking that they had dropped some. Some people had to go to the bathroom desperately before they smoked or right after. One girl took off all of her clothes as soon as she smoked, and she thought that she had crack bugs or something, and they were all over her, crawling all over her. It wasn't long before Snake realized that he had a gold mine within his reach, and he began renting out rooms for people to smoke and have sex in his house as the crack epidemic began to spread. Then he got rid of the middleman and began to cook and sell the crack cocaine himself. It wasn't easy to keep traffic under control because once the word was out that there was a place that was comfortable to smoke and there were women available and you could buy the product there without having to go out into the street to get it, people were coming to Snake's house in droves. Snake soon found out that he had to watch his back also because the crackheads would steal anything, from the soap down to the silverware to anything that wasn't nailed down. If they thought they could use it or sell it, they would steal it. Snake finally took one of the girls named Gail in, and he made her his woman. She helped keep the men and women in line because Snake realized that he couldn't do it alone anymore. Every crackhead was different, and they all needed watching. One guy would smoke and he would suddenly get the impression that everybody was after him. His eyes would get wide open, he would start taking off his jewelry and putting his wallet and jewelry together. Then he would pull out a switchblade and back into a corner like a trapped animal, looking around as if he was warding off attackers. Snake never let him back in the house again once he finally got him out. Some people were very calm and polite, and they just liked to talk when they got high. Usually sniffing coke would make you talk a lot because the back of your throat got numb and you just seemed like you wanted to talk, whether to alleviate the numbness in your throat or just because that was one of the side effects of sniffing. Freebasing, on the other hand, made some people wild. Snake enjoyed the people that just came and spent their money and talked and either bought more or just left. When people came in and just wanted to smoke, they would give the house a piece of or a rock out of courtesy for being allowed to sit inside and smoke. Snake tried crack one time and he began to smoke regularly. He didn't see himself slipping away because he always considered himself the king of his castle and not a crackhead. Snake had set up a regular smoke room where there was a circle of chairs where people could sit in a big circle, and there were glass pipes on the large table in the center of the circle that people could use to smoke. You weren't allowed to burn up the house pipes trying to get every last drop of cocaine oil to turn to smoke, and you couldn't flip the stem or turn the screens over to get the residue of cooked cocaine from the sides of the glass pipe. The house was allowed to do that at its own leisure. Once you smoked your rock you had put into the pipe, you had to put it down or suffer the consequences. Other crackheads were always ready to stomp someone else in hopes that Snake would reward them with another rock because they took his side. Snake had put Gail in her place several times and reminded her that she was just another crackhead that he allowed inside. She hated when Snake would take another woman into his private room and disappear for hours at a time. Snake was getting more and more addicted to the lifestyle. The house had begun to deteriorate, and he stopped paying everything except the most essential bills. Snake also found himself wanting the newest girls. There was one girl in particular that Snake wanted. Her name was Nina, and she had just started to smoke crack, and you could tell that she was a good girl and didn't belong in the midst of all these hardcore crackheads. Crack seemed to bring out whatever was really inside of a person. Once they ran out or needed more, you would find out how far they would go to get it. Nina came by the crack house only one time, and Snake recognized that she was tender from the first moment that he laid eyes on her. He took her straight up to his private room, with Gail giving him the evil eye all the way. They got up to the room, and Nina bought a $25 rock from Snake. They smoked together, and Snake watched as she sat and smoked, looking so sexy. Most crackheads lost a lot of weight and stayed up for days, and they smelled like it. Nina was still full and fresh. Her soft body was round, and her skin was silky smooth. When the crack ran out, Snake volunteered to give Nina a free hit. She smoked it and sat for a little longer, and she wanted more. She was trying her best to control herself, but the urge was so great. She asked Snake if she could get another 25 on credit, and he told her a lie that he had partners and they didn't allow any lending. He noticed a gold chain around her neck, and slowly but surely he convinced her that he would pawn the chain for her and she could bring back the money another time. The chain was worth about $800, and she took a $25 rock, believing that she could get it back later. When that was all smoked up, she still wanted more. That urge in her head kept saying, "Can we get more? Can we get more?" Snake made his move then. He told her, "I only have this 25 piece left, and the girl downstairs is going to come up and smoke it with me and let me have sex with her. I know that you're not that kind of girl, so I wouldn't ask you to do that kind of thing." Nina looked at him, and she was repulsed. But she really wanted more, but she thought about it. It was getting late, and she didn't want to be missed at home. "I understand, and thank you for your kindness," said Nina as she got up. Snake walked her to the back door and said, "Listen, if you ever change your mind, just come and knock 4 times on this door, and I'll know that it's you, and I'll have a $100 rock waiting for you, so you can stay and smoke all night." Nina looked him in the eye, trying not to ask, "Do you have that much now?" But she forced herself not to, and she rushed away through the back door and down the dark street. Snake just smiled to himself and said, "She'll be back." We'll continue this story another time. You've got to hear the ending with the other 4 characters in this story.
City too cold, gotta keep me a heater. Air watching my back, cause Snake's moving deeper. Came from the bottom, was serving the people. Now it's big money, got lawyers and leases. Street stories, NYC, where the bosses be. Where the youngest turn killers for they 17. Saw a lot of dreams getting lost in the cold of the street. Make a milli, but you still gotta watch where you eat.
Ooh, no mercy here.
Nah.
North City, take your soul, leave you cold out here. Your loyalty don't come for free. So welcome to Street Stories NYC. Ooh, no mercy here. City, take your soul, leave you cold out here. Yeah, loyalty don't come for free. So welcome to Street Stories NYC.
Get the raw full 45 set collection. Available now on Amazon and Barnes & Noble, iTunes, and of course, StreetStoriesNYC.com.